What up, everybody? Man, this is 2 nights in a row I've been on at night. I normally don't post at night, and I'm not gonna be on here long tonight for real. I was up here for a long time yesterday when I was talking about William Murphy. So today I'm gonna start, and it's amazing segue because we talked Murphy, and now we're gonna talk comedy. You know I ain't gonna be on here long because I'm standing up. I ain't even indulging in my own laziness. Welcome to See You in the Morning, evening edition. I'm not gonna go through all the stuff that I normally do with the show, like speaking to everybody and all that. We ain't gonna do all that. Hey, Crystal, how you doing? So I want to talk about the internet is all the rage. I'm gonna talk about this real quick. I'm gonna move off. The internet is all the rage right now. It's going crazy. It's bananas. It's been turned upside down. Shannon Sharp, well-known Denver Bronco player, one of my favorite football players of all time, has now become a journalist. He's done a lot of sports broadcasting, but he also has his own show. He sits around and sips on fine cognac, and he interviews lots of different people, 99.9% of them being from the African-American community. So he gets on, he interviews different people. He's had varying comedians on the show. Shannon in himself is an amazing success story. If you ever go back and look at some of the things he overcame in life, and the fact that he's even a commentator, when for much of his life, his lateral lisp was one of the things they talked about, his speech impediment, all those things, and now he's turned that into a positive. He's now a guy who was never seen as articulate and a great speaker, is now an amazing speaker. So he's had a variety of comedians on his show. He's interviewed them. Today's interview came out. He interviewed Katt Williams. Katt Williams is an enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in bacon. Katt Williams is very simply an amazing comedic talent. Very, very bright and genius gentleman who, like everybody in the entire world, is dealing with some demons, right? He's got some demons. He's got some things that he's going through. It's amazing. So now he interviews with Shannon Sharp. It's like a 17,000 hour interview. The only thing people have gravitated towards was probably the first 10 minutes of it. The first 10 minutes has been nothing now but viral clips. It's been reels. Shannon Sharp's people have cut it up, put it on there. In those 10 minutes, in those first 10 to 15 minutes, he just goes completely nuclear on a lot of comics in the industry. Steve Harvey, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, Faison Love, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley. Goes nuclear. I'm talking about going on levels that you ain't never heard nobody go on before. And so I was raised in Portsmouth, not born in Portsmouth, but raised in Portsmouth. The Portsmouth in me was like, I need all of this. But the mature adult in me was like, this is a lot. Then the comedian in me went completely to a whole nother place, right? Because I was like, how is this progressing my profession, the profession that I claim to love, the profession that I'm huge on? Let's be clear. I have currently, and this is why this is a very difficult video for me to make, because of the position that I'm in, just kind of in life. I currently have friends who tour with Katt Williams. Katt was very honest when he came out and he said, man, I've taken 46 comics out on tour with me. I'm one of the very few comics in the industry that will take out people who I feel are funnier than me. Very, very true statement. If you know anything about comedy, if you know anything about the comedy game, comedy is filled of a lot of people who are insecure. There's a lot of insecure comics out there. There are comics who will not. Comedy is the only job that you can really get fired at for being good. If you are a good comic, you run the risk of getting fired every time. Every time. Comedy is, there is a line in comedy. There are a lot of people who are headliners who have reached a certain stage who will not take a comic on the road with them, won't continue to do shows with them because they feel like that person is taking a shine or they're good or whatever. You'll get fired for being good. Don't go out on stage and really be good. They don't deal with that. Katt, I got friends who are torn with Katt. Katt said I've taken comics out. I'm one of the few comics that'll take other comics out that are good. The commentary that I have about the Katt Williams thing, and I don't know if everything that he's saying is true. If you haven't seen it, just look up Katt Williams Club Shay Shay. You can basically put in the letter K in Google right now. That's the first thing that's going to come up. I'll say this about the Katt Williams thing. It killed me a little bit inside because I hate to see some of our greats be torn down the way that they torn down. Now, there's rumors about, one of the things that he talked about was the rumors of Cedric the Entertainer stealing his joke and using it in the Kings of Comedy. You see that in the thing, in the comedy world, stealing somebody's joke. That's the spit in the face of comedy. You steal somebody's joke, that's spit in the face of comedy. There's been a lot of greats who've been accused of that. I remember when people talk about Robin Williams. Robin Williams would go, they say Robin Williams would go to a show and go to open mics and see people do comedy and come back and do their jokes. I've heard of headliners who have gone to shows and stole a young comic's joke, and they'd be like, well, who people gonna believe, you or me? I'm the name, not you. I've personally done a show twice. I remember one of the first times it ever happened to me. I did a show. I had 2 shows in the night. The first show, the guy that was a host wasn't a comic, and so he was bombing. He was dying. So then I came up and did my set. This was early in my comedy career. I came up, did my set. I killed with my set. At the second show, he did my set in my face with me right there. And at this point in time, I'm a young comic. I ain't had but this much material, and he did all of that. I was stunned. I was lost. I had nothing to do. That was the first time it ever happened to me. And the second time, the very first joke I wrote, I'll never forget this joke. It was the very first joke I wrote. I had did it in the DC area. I saw a comedian from DC. We were on the same show. The comedian did my joke. I knew it was my joke. It was the very first joke I ever wrote. I remember when I wrote it. So stealing a joke it ain't no coming back from that. There's nothing you can do, right? That is the cardinal sin of comedy. That is the cardinal sin. That is, you don't do it. So I understand. But I also understand that Kings of Comedy was 437 years ago. Kings of Comedy was 437 years ago. Why are we still dwelling in that? So he destroys Cedric. He went nuclear. He destroys Cedric about the Kings of Comedy. He destroys Katt Williams destroyed everybody. Everybody he talked about, he destroyed. He destroyed Ricky Smiley. Lord, Ricky Smiley, I don't know what more that man can go through. Children down here. He's had children to die. And now Katt Williams is trying to kill his career. So yeah, Ricky Smiley. He destroyed Ricky Smiley. Destroyed Steve Harvey. Oh, God. Faison Love. I don't even know what to say about Faison. Poor Faison. He killing Faison. Faison don't even have a career to kill. And he went out there and killed Faison's career. It's crazy that he did all these things to these guys. And so the ghetto in me, the hood me, the part of me that likes to watch ratchet television, the part of me that is okay with watch Earthquake. He hit thank you, Pat. He hit Earthquake. The one on Earthquake was just so low. Earthquake don't bother nobody. His name may be a natural disaster, but he's a nice man. I met Earthquake. Great, nice man. He never did nothing to nobody. Okay, he never did nothing to nobody. He destroyed Earthquake. He destroyed Earthquake. I don't even want to say what he said about Earthquake. Earthquake ain't did nothing to know. He's a nice man. He's a nice gentleman. Destroyed Earthquake. He destroyed everybody in this thing, right? So the Portsmouth in me was like, whoo, love it. But I continue watching. A lot of people stopped watching after he stopped dogging artists. After he stopped dogging comics, I can tell a lot of people stopped watching. He stopped watching. After you watch, I listened to Shannon interview this man. And while I didn't understand the vitriol that I heard in the beginning of the interview, I realized that life can sometimes turn you into that individual. I listened to him interview this man who told a story of being a 13-year-old boy. And because of religious differences in his home with his father, having to leave home with nothing but a Rottweiler puppy and hitchhike to Florida. Yeah, I don't believe he read 3,000 books a year between the age. That's 12,000 books. He started to talk about his life, his formative years. He then went into being raised similar to the story of Richard Pryor, being raised in a whorehouse. He was raised by some women of the night. And it was really interesting to me that you saw the bottom part of that. There was a lot of stuff in it that I don't think was true. Katt said it so authoritatively that I don't think it's true. Just like he said that Disney sent him a cease and desist about calling himself Cat in the Hat. When Cat in the Hat doesn't belong to Disney, it's not a Disney property. They didn't buy Disney didn't buy DreamWorks until late. It was a Dr. Seuss. Now, if he had said Dr. Seuss gave it to him, then but Cat in the Hat and Disney ain't the same people. If it had been Mouse in the Hat, he said it authoritatively. Disney sent me a letter telling me to cease and desist calling myself Cat in the Hat. I was like, why would Disney? I don't think Disney would care. So he said it so authoritatively that people thought, yo, it's got to be right. That's one thing about black people. If you say it loud and strong, people will believe it. Like if I get on here right now and be like, I have been a white man the last 12 years of my life. People like, he said it loud and strong, so it's got to be true. That man said he read 3,000 books a year. I ain't even going to lie to you. I don't even know how many books. That's like 50 books a day. And he said none of them were fiction books. It was all nonfiction. I was like, you read 50. Said he read at the age of 3, read the entire encyclopedia. I'm not saying that you lying, but what I am saying, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. So what I've realized is if you circle some truth in around a bunch, if you use a lie as parsley, people will believe it. You know, if your meat is, if most of it is truth is meat, it's good. But if you just sprinkle some parsley, it is. So I really wanted to talk about how I realized how the pain of his life brought him to the vitriol of attacking other people. And what I noticed is everything that went viral was the negative about him attacking Steve, about him attacking, he called Cedric a walrus. Which was hilarious, but wrong. He's not a walrus. Cedric's a great man. He dogged all of these people. But what I saw was, if you watch it, go back and watch. When it came to the beef with everybody, he was so strong when he talked. There was not a stutter. There wasn't a pause. When they asked him about him stealing this stuff, when asked about Cedric's albums, he said Cedric Entertainment he said it so eloquently and immediate. He's like, Cedric Entertainment has 4 albums that are so bad that they can't be found on Netflix or Tubi. Now, Cedric's can be found on Netflix. I got to defend Cedric on that. You can pull up Cedric's one of his specials on Netflix. But if you watch the parts where he was talking about the vitriol, he was so eloquent, so articulate. But when they got into the minutia of his life, everything that he was asked, he paused. He couldn't articulate it. The pain, it was different. It was like 2 completely different interviews. And so here's what I've learned, and this is just all I got out of the thing, man. And it's not a dig. I can't say he's right or wrong. I don't know what's true. I don't think anybody he named will come back. Maybe Faison, because Faison has nothing to lose. But I don't think anybody that he named. I don't think Cedric will make any kind of response. I don't think Steve will. I know Ricky Smiley might, only because he got the show tomorrow on the radio. He may say something about it. But I don't think they're gonna go. Oh, Ced already came back. Oh, I gotta go and watch it. And say it's like I got a show on TV right now. Say it's like I'm a star. I one of the things that I want us to be careful about. One of the things I want us to be careful about is allowing our hurt and our pain to fester so much in us that we lash out at people for no reason. There is an importance in having people around you who will help you manage your pain so that your pain doesn't fester and manifest in those kinds of ways. If you watch it, that man was more hurt than anything. In this comedy game, this is no lie. In this comedy game, I've been done wrong by promoters. I've been done wrong by other comics. I've been done wrong by promoters, other comics. I've been done wrong by legends in the comedy game. I have never lashed out and gone public and been like, "This is what such and such did to me." You can't imagine what such and such. I'll even take it to relationships and things that you have. Sometimes you're gonna be in a relationship, you're gonna have an ex that was horrible. You ain't got to get out there and tell everybody they was horrible. The world gonna know. Sometimes you want to go warn their next boy, say, hey, look, hey, I know you messing with him or her now. She was horrible when listen, this is what she did. She did ask for. Ain't no use in it. Let them be. Let them be. The easiest thing that I want people to get out of it is a principle that my pastor has told me, and it has always worked. He said, I've never had man do me wrong where God didn't go and make it right. I've never had man do me wrong where God didn't come back and make it right. At some point, man, you got to let go of the hurts and the pains that cause you to go from the little boy who had to leave home at 13 to the grown man who was still holding beats from over a decade ago. I can't hold that beef. I gotta let that beef go. So I know we all watched it, and listen, he had some quality digs. I'm not perfect. Me and my best friend got on the phone like, we gotta talk about this. He said, yes, absolutely. But at some point, though, while we laughing and giggling, which of us are going to reach out to Katt and be like, hey, dog, let's heal some of this stuff that you're going through. Let's heal the fact from the age of 13 when you had to leave home and leave Ohio to go move to Florida on your own to now. Let's heal some of that. Let's let some of that go. I have to say, forgive fast. Listen, it's hard to forgive fast, but sometimes at some point you just gotta move. The forgive will come. Listen, forge forward, forgive and forget. I think that's the part that we forget in the forgive and forget. We tell people you got to forgive and forget. Now you got to forge forward first, because it's hard to forgive when you still sitting there. When you still sitting there, it's hard for you to forgive. Dog, if I'm still sitting in the room with a person that keeps punching me in my face, I don't think I can forgive him yet. I got to forge forward. Then I can forgive and forget. Just me just throwing out personal, the way that I feel about it. So if anybody asks me as a comedian, I hated everything about that, because all I see again is more division within some of the greats in the game. You got Kevin Hart. You got he lashed out at Kevin Hart. I'm gonna take this. Gonna sound mean. Faison is in the game. I don't want to not include him in the greats. Also, don't want to include him in it. That's confusing. But you got Earthquake, Kevin Hart, Cedric the Entertainer. He's already had that beef with DL Hughley. It's been a lot. I just don't. I couldn't take it from a comedian standpoint, just from my professional job experience. The hood me from Portsmouth Loved all of it. The adult me, the comedian me, I didn't like it. So all I ask is if you watch that part, don't just watch the clips. If you got 7 or 8 hours to watch all of Shannon Sharpe's interview, and I think it's really like an hour and a half, almost 2, go back and watch and see the pain that provoked the pain that he gave in the end. The pain that he's endured that provoked the pain that he lashed out with. Y'all go and check out both ends. Pray for the brother, man. It's gonna be a lot. I'm interested in seeing how it goes. The super woke people are gonna be like, it's just a distraction. So I don't know what we're being distracted from, but we went from William Murphy to this. I know William Murphy's like, I appreciate it. Woo, because they was on his hind parts. But yeah, do that. I'm out, man. That's all I got. I got nothing else, man. I wanted to type it, but I couldn't really figure out a way to use my thumbs properly. I probably would just ended up hitchhiking. But yeah, he talked about Epstein, but Harvey Weinstein. Oh yeah, this is a distraction from the Epstein list. Yeah, he talked about Harvey Weinstein. This is a lot, so we'll see what happens. I appreciate, man. I don't dislike Katt. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's right. I am saying that I understand the pain that led him from where he was to where he is right now. And we just, let's see if we can get that man healed. See if we can get him healed and whole. Being healed and being whole is great. It's great. All right, I'm out, y'all. Y'all check me out again tomorrow morning at 7 something. Probably closer to 8. 7:35-ish. I'm on every morning. See you in the morning. All right. I love y'all, man. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream because my knees hurt.